Hi, welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the G.I. Joe classified from the mass device, Snake Eyes, and Polar Bear. And I, for one, can tell you that when we saw the Polar Bear on one of the other figures, I believe it was Snow Job. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was like, we're not getting a Polar Bear. Why would there be a Polar Bear? But we got a Polar Bear, and it's here. And they've done wonderful things with all of their animal companions. Hopefully this one will be just as good. I know there's other places like Mythic Legions, the Four Horsemen, whatever you want to call them. They are doing bears, and they're much more expensive. I'm not trying to put down the Mythic Legions because they make wonderful design stuff. But again, this is one $65, and you get a Snake Eyes. I know, another Snake Eyes. You just reviewed one yesterday. Never had a mass device, and we're going to see, does he actually glow through these hands? Does this mass device here, does this stuff actually glow? We're going to check out and see if it does. Anyway, here you can see the wonderful open box. There's your Polar Bear. There's your Snake Eyes. On the side, you have an angry Polar Bear that is kind of attacking Snake Eyes. You can see 161 on the box. Over here, you have what is considered a file card. There is this QR code that takes you straight to where? Hell. And on the back, people always want to ask, there is your UPC code. All right, on the back here, we got some awesome artwork. He's in the Arctic. I don't have Arctic here. It's summer. There's nothing I can do, but this will go awesome with the Snowcat. Go back to Snowcat if you haven't yet and you really want some more Arctic stuff. Anyway, there you go. Snake Eyes. He's got the mass device. He's glowing. This probably means we're going to get a Blind Woodsman at some time, I'm just saying. But anyway, let's get into this because this thing is a heavy figure. My arm's starting to get a nice little workout, so you probably see a little pump over here. Anyway, before we do, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classified review. Oh my, that is a lot of beast. That is a lot in this figure. So, man, if you're new to the channel and you're like, man, I don't understand how this guy reviews stuff. Well, I like to go over the accessories first, but this is going to be difficult because there's this big Polar Bear right here that I got to figure out what I'm going to do with. So anyway, we'll start off with everything that we see here. We'll start off with the Polar Bear, to be honest. So as you can see, he comes with a separate head. His legs aren't together. And then we have a second piece of where he has been shot. So, quickly, how does this guy go together? This is exactly how he comes, right? This is so they can fit it into the box, I believe, a little bit easier. And I have to say, he's heavy. There's nothing light about this. So, you know, you're not going to be like, man, this thing feels like it's going to break. Really, really nice. So, gonna pop both those legs on. Oh man, my finger keeps popping. All right, there we go. So that is on. So quickly, we'll set that right over there. All right, and we'll take a look at this. So this is a piece that we're going to swap out over. It's on him. It's right here. And it blends in pretty well. So he gets shot with a couple arrows, and looking at this, you can see there is a little bit of a wash to it, but also the color when the light hits it makes it look like there's different textures and different colors to it, which looks really good. And then you have these two arrows painted black. They're pliable enough, but they stick out straight. You're not going to see them start sagging. You can see the teardrop. That's how it's going to fit, and we'll look at that after. So here is your angry Polar Bear. Like I said, he's had his face cut, so right above his eye he has a nice scar. If you remember, G.I. Joe is going really heavy on the scars, and I'm talking about the classified. The original Flint has this big scar over his eye. So anyway, the eye looks really good. You can see the pupil right there. All right, on this side, all right, looks good. You got the nice nose, paint around the upper lip, and you can see exactly how that goes. Nostrils all look good. All right. The ears nice and sticking out. This is very pliable too, all right? So we'll probably be able to get to move it around a little bit, hopefully. And then looking at this, we can see the teeth. It looks like maybe there's a broken tooth right there. But you have the tongue, all that painted real nice and right around here. And I bet if we go and look at an actual polar bear, you're going to see a lot of similar characteristics. They try and make sure that they're pretty close to what an actual animal is. Lenny talked about it when they designed these. So here is our polar bear. And yes, he is heavy. He's heavy and he looks pretty good. So the docile phase here, he still has the scars, which is good. You can look and you can see the eyes painted pretty good. You can see the paint kind of right there, but also, like I said, once the light hits it, it really starts giving it texture, starts giving it other in-depth feel. There you have your teeth, and again, the broken, I believe this is the canine. I apologize if it's not, but it is all painted on the inside there. I know it's pretty hard to see, but you can see the top teeth right there painted. So all that is painted on the inside, and then right here, you can see where the paint is, where it's going to be like two different colors of the polar bear. Because when you look here, you can see exactly how it is. All right, going all the way down, you got the mohawk. I know this mohawk because Roman gets that mohawk when he's extremely angry. If you don't know who Roman is, it means you're not watching my channel. That's my doggy. So there you go, going straight down. And again, this looks more like a white silver, where then it's painted here, and then you got the white. There's actually some pretty good paint apps on this, and again, the way the texture feels, and it's actually a harder plastic, much harder than the head right here, which is good for moving around. It looks like he has a tail that's kind of tucked in here, probably just to keep away from doing any type of tails. Sorry, looking at his butt too much. But all in all, the detailing on it is really good. You get down to his paws here. All right, and you get the big paw right there, and some nice articulation we'll look at. So, just a black painted right there. No overspray that I can see. Same with over here. So all in all, that looks really good. As for the articulation on this polar bear, his head he can look up, and then he can look down. Really good. And obviously side to side, kind of tilt his head. His neck here can turn. That can move down like that, and then obviously move back up. So he's like kind of we can put him in a roaring position. His front legs here, all right, they can move up, they can move out a little bit. They do bend in, so you get a good amount of articulation there. And then you're going to get that paw that is also going to move around, right? So all in all, that looks pretty good. It seems to work pretty well. But you can twist this all around. I think you'll be able to get some really good shots with this. Nothing here at the base, unlike where Timber and Junkyard, they have a swivel right here at the body. As the back legs, as we could see, we did have to put them on, but they can go out that far. They can also go in. They bend slightly, but then kind of move up. You gotta get a good motion here, and then you're gonna be able to move them here. And there's no toe articulation here. So there's a toe articulation up here, probably for leaning over. But this, I think, is so we can make him stand. And the question is, can we make him stand? And is it hard? That's what she said. So that was like getting, like, he stands perfectly. Like, I mean, you can't get running poses. I mean, you're not going to get him. I can't believe I'm going to try and get him on 1 foot. I just had him. Holy crap. There he is on 1 foot, guys. That's 1 foot. So look, here's the actual chain. So there, you can see it's really low, but yeah, we got him on 1 foot. All right. As for the head, pops off nice and easily. It's got a nice little ball joint here. We can pop this on him, and now he is angry. Now, who doesn't want an angry polar? Well, I don't want an angry polar bear after me, but in your toy collection, that is absolutely awesome. And you can see how it sets. And again, if you want him yelling at Snake Eyes, yelling at Snake Eyes, I think it's roaring. I think roaring is the actual term, right? So there you go. Look at that. He stands, no problem whatsoever. Now he's angry, right? Because he got hit. Look at this. He popped this off, and you can see the meat. So if you want to make it where like they literally started to like scalping they started cutting him off, right? Like you can actually see the meat right there. It is hard plastic, but there's the meat. Oh, that's awesome. And then we can pop this on here. Again, it's that teardrop. And here he is. He's pretty angry because he just got shot with a couple of arrows. I mean, who the hell wouldn't be mad if someone shot him with arrows? So there's your polar bear. All right. I don't think the polar bear has a name other than you pissed me off. All right. So we're going to put the polar bear right over here. They're yelling at Cobra. All right. Now we'll get to our Snake Eyes and everything that he does come with. So I always like to start off with stuff that we've already had. And here we have the XMLR laser rifle. It has a port for blast effects, has a nice grip, trigger guard. I like this because it does bring back the cartoon. I don't think every figure should have it. I know some people do. I don't think that it does. I don't think that we need them with every figure, but the cartoon ones most definitely. All right. So a little bit of paint. It's got silver. Actually, I think it's black with silver paint on it. So it just gives it a different feel. There's a whole bunch of them. I'd rather them all be black, just so they're uniformed, but it doesn't really matter to me. It is straight. All right, it is pliable. No big deal. Here we're going to get this little itty bitty knife. It is fairly flat and dull. It is pliable, but it is straight. You can see it has the grip here. There's your guard for it. All right, so all this looks pretty good. We get the pistol. Again, same color theme. You get your silver up here. So you got your nice, you got your nice grip. I like the fact that you can see the rivets that are holding it on. Trigger guard, trigger, port for blast effects, silver slide up there. All right, all looks really good there. And then we look at all the hands that he comes with. And so what you're going to get is, let's say you don't want him with the pink, you don't want him glowing. Here's his regular trigger hands. All right, now you may say, well, why aren't they gloved? They were not gloved in the cartoon. This version of the cartoon, they weren't gloved, so this is what they gave. It would have been nice had they also given a gloved pair, so just like, hey, you want to make this your own figure. But, and because he's not black, you'd have to do a lot of matching. Or you could just do black. I guess you could just do black, and I guess it would cuff fine. All right, so we get two karate chopping hands that are in pink, so he is obviously glowing. Then we have two fists, also glowing. So these are supposed to be where he's contaminated, he's glowing, he doesn't have much time to live. But he does find timber. Now, I didn't get white timber. I grabbed gray timber because he was already up here. I believe in the cartoon he actually finds white timber. But, all right. And then we have this here. And this is for the mass device. Now, this here is the same cylinder. It came with the original Dr. Mindbender. And this is breakers, all right? So everything looks the same. This is for the vials, if you were wondering what that's for. As for the chemicals in it, as you can see, it is different. So they did make these different at least. All right, and you can just swap it. It doesn't really matter which one you want to put in there. All right, or you put whatever you want in here. For Dr. Mindbender, it actually came with a hand that plugged in there. So, but we're going to throw this back in here. Now, as for new stuff, here is the chemical that he is carrying. I don't fully remember. So this is the cylinder that he has. I don't fully remember this story completely. The cartoon is what it was. It was fun. We loved it as a kid, but it was never my true canon. But the design on this is real nice. I'll be interested to see how they reuse this because they reuse everything. But basically, you can find a way to hold it. He carries this. He gets infected. I forget how he gets uninfected. Something with the blind woodsman. All right. But all in all, nice. And I bet that glows in the dark. We're going to take a look. Don't worry. So here we have, this thing's going to be awesome. It's all the people that have a problem with the Snowcat having a dinette. This is what this stuff is for. There are people that love doing photography. They do wonderful photography. Then there's guys like me that do photography, but it's not wonderful, but we love doing it. Or they just want to have a display set up. So this is your bear trap. All right. And it actually does close. All right. So you're going to be able to close it. It also looks like, if you know guar, then you know what I'm talking about. Now this thing does pop out pretty easily. If I remember, it's Balsac. Isn't it Balsac? From guar. Come on, I know there's guar fans here. Tell me what his name is. Anyway, so there you are. This does close, so you can close it on his foot. At his foot, you can do it on Junkyard, Order, Ruckus. Hell, you can do it on Fiona. But anyway, that's where they're going to stop. It is going to close. It has the nice teeth on it. And then it has a chain. Now the chain is just plastic. We could hook it onto something else. But at least they put it on a ball joint here. So you're going to be able to move it around a little bit. So you can just kind of move things around. All right. I like this. We'll kind of take our timber. We'll say he steps in it. And that's probably going to break his poor little leg. We don't ever want to break timber. Timber was awesome. All right. So we'll throw that over there. That is everything, all the accessories. As for Snake Eyes, there he is. Now you're wondering, why would you bring out Retro Snake Eyes? Did you want to rub it in our faces that we never got it? I kind of do, but that's not why I brought him out. This is the exact same figure. So let's say you didn't get him. All right, now you can find a way to get all the weapons, but you could probably paint him black and get away with it. If you missed out on Retro Snake Eyes, somebody can now get this. This figure has gone up in price. I don't see us getting that retro one again. So, looking at this guy here, looking at his mask, all right, it has the nice purple sheen to it. You can see the black around the goggles, and then you have the vents so he can breathe a little bit better. You can see the stitching that's supposed to go over. It looks like maybe where the plastic connected isn't the best. All right, but I'll survive. It has the OG look. All right, so he's got the the collar going around. Some little padding right up there. There's nothing else on the shirt, but then he does have his plate or his weight loading vest, right? Something like that. So you can plug a backpack in here if need be. The detail on this is really good. All right, so you can kind of see the detail. You can see where it's going to connect right there. A purple pouch there, purple pouch there, a flash bang grenade or a smoke grenade, and then what looks like he has a knife right up there. All right, going down his arms, you got the pouch right there. This is the same buck that came with our grunt and a lot of the other OG figures. All the way down, you got the same elastic band right here, and then we have the glowing hands right there. Down here we can see where the belt is going to latch and the buckle there. So this all looks really good. You got the nice pockets on the back. He has the same, again, this is kind of where they screw up because of the mold. They should have just given him that weapon, but I think they wanted to give him a different pistol. So you have a suppressor that sits right there, all right? But anyway, I'm wondering how well that gun fits in there because it's really supposed to be for that. And we'll look at a couple things in a second. So you got the nice drop-down holster. Here we have the sheath for the knife. All right, the knee pads that are kind of built in and nice detail. But again, he is this purple because that's what he actually was in the cartoon. And then you got the nice boots. You can see the wonderful stitching. All right. So quickly, I want to look at everything. So this is the gun that he comes with. This is the gun that is actually made to go in this holster. So if we're going to take this here, it does fit pretty well. All right, so no problem there. As for the knife, I heard somebody complain because they got it, and they complained that it doesn't really stay in, that it just kind of drops out, and that's because that's the knife that it's supposed to have. So this is the type of stuff where, you know, if you're going to reuse certain things, like that knife, even though it fits there, it's basically saying, hey, we're going to throw that on there, and it doesn't really go with it, and it's loose, but just keep it there, and you never have to worry about it. The gun is okay, although you do have a suppressor issue right there because you don't have a suppressor for it. But, I'll just say it, if you have breaker, then you have an extra suppressor that you have nowhere to put, and I guess you can use that. You can put breaker suppressor right on them. All right, as far as articulation, he can look down that far. He can look up that far. I will mention it once again. They need to do a better job with their neck articulation, considering the head is on a neck, or the head is moving, and same with the actual neck. He can tilt his head. He can turn side to side. There is his T-pose, double pinless joints. That is your, your bicep swivel. There's your wrists and everything. He does have butterfly joints. They really only go that far. Butterfly joints should allow me to put the pistol and have his hands touch. They don't. They do go back, but I don't really care about back as much. He has his ab crunch. He can go down that far, and he can look back that far. Turn side to side. There's this Jean-Claude Van Damme drop down hips. And then, of course, see how the knife just fell right out? Perfect seating for a vamp, for a awe striker, or whatever thing else, anything else you're going to use. He does have the thigh swivel. There's your pinless double knees, boot cut, and ankle rockers. And because I know everyone is always worried or wondering, these ones are still made in China. All right. So quickly, if we want to pop this off here, hands pop off. It does have a small joint right there. I know people are worried about that. I'm not worried about that. I don't see why that's going to be a problem. And then we can just pop that right in there. All right. So pop this off. And then I think what we need to do is we got to go check the if these things actually glow in the dark. All right, the question of does it glow in the dark may come up, and so we're going to find out. As you can see, here he is, and we flip this off, and you can see it does glow in the dark. But you go, man, that's not that good. But you know what? Head on over to Amazon and pick up one of these UV lights, and look at that. It definitely changes. Does this thing glow in the dark? Well, that's a great question. I don't think the chemical actually glows in the dark. Oh, it does. Look at that. So hit it up with a UV light, and you will see that, yeah, you actually do get some pretty good glow in the dark there. And I'm in the basement. It is completely dark. But yeah, you won't have any issues with a UV light. But if you don't use a UV light like this, yeah, good luck. Probably not going to work all that well, but there we go. That answers that question. He does glow in the dark. Look at that. Ooh, glow in the dark. All right, so there you go. We answered the question, does he glow in the dark? The answer is definitely yes. Now, we're back up here. I got him holding the cylinder. He holds it actually pretty well. I like kind of what they did here. But can we pose this? You can do all kinds of stuff. Honestly, I'm not even joking. Like, I feel like there's so many things that you can do just with this set alone, with the polar bear and the little canister. Man, I am struggling to get, I gotta say, the glow-in-the-dark hands here are not as, they're not as soft as most glow-in-the-dark is. Usually glow in the dark is actually very soft and pliable. So, can you pose this figure? Well, go watch my review on that guy right there. I believe he was my classified figure of the year. He is really that good. And so this figure, I don't see why he's not going to be... He's not just as good of an actual figure. All right? When it all comes down to it. So, there he is like that. Again, can we get him running? Can we get him on one foot? Look at that. We get him on one foot easily. Get that bear chasing him. He's going to be running from that bear. I'd shoot him with the laser rifle. That's just me. But Snake Eyes, he might want to save people or save bears. Polar bear's chasing me. I'm going to use anything I can, especially if I have a laser rifle. But as we can see, we can do some nice shots with him. So, yeah, he's posable. The bear is posable. He glows in the dark. He has a lot of accessories. He comes with the XMLR. Pistol's good. The knife, yeah, the knife is what it is. And like I said, you can use Breaker's suppressor right there if you want. It probably works out well because I have a big box full of stuff right here. This is the yeah, I'm letting you in on the dirty little secret. This is kind of what I've been going on lately. I know that's probably the most awful sound. Probably should have looked for the suppressor sooner. But Breaker does come with a suppressor. It should be somewhere in this box somewhere. I don't know why I'm showing you that. Because it's me. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Alright, so there you go. That is your Snake Eyes and Polar Bear. Again, I don't know if they named the guy or what, but there he is. And really, this could have been one of those, I don't want G.I. Joe or Hasbro to charge me anymore, but it probably could have been a 3-pack, and you probably could have put Timber with it. What I was trying to do was find the suppressor for Breaker that everyone's like, I have nowhere to put it, and there you go. It actually looks pretty good on that gun. And now, what I was trying to say is, you can plug this right into here. I know you're like, hey, I can't see that. So there you go. So that does work. I'm probably just going to leave that there. So, I mean, I have the suppressor. I can't really do anything with it with Breaker. It doesn't fit on him. But the knife here, I think I have another knife that probably fits in there. But I'll probably get some sticky tack and just kind of drop it in there and just keep the knife in there. But anyway, there's Snake Eyes. There's your Polar Bear. This is going to be a lot of fun. If the Snowcat funds, the Snowcat's going to fun. And we get everything, which would do even better. In like a year and a half, we're going to have a lot of fun because I'm sure there's going to be some more Arctic stuff coming. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here because you spent a lot of time with me, and I definitely appreciate it. So please, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a classified review. Now, don't go anywhere. You're like, have you ever reviewed another Snake Eyes? Well, I sure have. And he's going to be right there. Well, one of them. And down here will be a playlist of all the G.I. Joe Classified and all the Snake Eyes right there. Take care.